There we go, and live. All right, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? It is Michael, host of the Smoke Pit Podcast. Today, it's a little bit different. Today, we don't have Jake. Jake's got some real-world stuff going on, some stuff going on with the folks, and that's always more important, right? We got to take care of our folks. But I'm going to be sitting here with a very good friend of mine, Derrick Smith. Haven't talked to you in a while as well, man. First of all, how are you doing?
It's going, man. You know, it's different days down here at headquarters. So the life is, I'm not around troops, man, and that's what I miss. I miss being around my people.
Yeah. So you're out of, for the folks that don't know, me and Derrick Smith here know each other from Minot.
Yeah, oh yeah.
When I officially met you, it was meeting you and seeing the stash and being like, holy shit, that's what I'm talking about. And then I think you were head of TRF at that point. That's pretty much when I ended up meeting you. So you're no longer at Minot?
No longer at Minot, down at Barksdale. You're living the good life in Shreveport, Louisiana, man. Hey, man, you know what? Just like Minot, man, he gets bad raps, man. I love this area. I mean, I'm retired. I'm staying in this area.
Really?
Yes. The food is amazing. The weather, man, it's 73 degrees out right now.
Right. I wish. It's funny that you say that too, because I'm over here in Holloman Air Force Base, right? And I get here and everyone's like, this place sucks. I'm 3 months into the gig and I'm like, man, I could retire out here,
That's what I'm saying.
And I'm Arizona born and raised. So
yeah, and then the food, man. That's the one thing that Minot was lacking, right?
Well, yeah. You know what? The best thing that I had in Minot, though, is a place called Casa Jalisco. Some of the best birria tacos I've had in a North Dakota. Like, what are the odds, right?
But they were good. I'll tell you, El Azteca has the best ones that I've had.
Well, see, here's the deal. I started with El Azteca. Okay, that's where it started. Okay. And then somebody was like, you got to graduate. And I'm like, what are you talking about? They're like, you need to go down to Casa Jalisco. So I go to Casa Jalisco, and I'm like, hey, man. I was like, I'm from Southern Arizona, like Southern Tucson, Arizona. I know what good tacos are supposed to taste like. And he goes, no way. And he goes, boom. And he's got this U of A tattoo on his shoulder or on his elbow. And I'm like, you motherfucker. And, some of the best tacos I had. The El Azteca was good, but Casa Jalisco kind of did the trick.
They were good, man. They had the burrito nachos. I don't know if you ever had those before you left there. Man, those
I had the quesadilla, just the birria tacos in general.
Yeah, man.
But when I got down here, I was very surprised. They were like, yeah, we are New Mexico, but we don't have any birria tacos in this town. And I'm like, you don't? What?
It's green chili, man.
Yeah, it's just green chili. But I mean, to be fair, I've been to Blake's Lottaburger. I don't know if you're familiar with that place. But my mom's boyfriend was like, hey, man, when you make that trip down there, what you need to do is go to Blake's Lottaburger and get that Lottaburger and then get it with the green chili on there, like the supreme version. And one of the best things I've had, they have another place here called Heidi Ho that has a green chili burger with everything on it. And I had actually, the first time I ordered it, I was like, hey, man, I just want the meat, the cheese, and the green chili. Yeah. I don't know why I said that, but I said that because that's what I'm used to doing at like McDonald's, right? And it comes out with everything on it. And I'm like, okay, well, this looks too beautiful because I like my food to be, I think it should be like that. When you're at an outside eatery, I think it just needs to be sloppily put together, just blah, 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 eat it. Just kind of like birria tacos, right? You just dip it in there and you just eat it, right?
Man.
So it comes out looking like that. And I'm like, well, I can't send this back, man. I got to eat it, And one bite, and I was like, I'm so glad they didn't do the order the way I asked it. Like, it was incredible. I mean, it was pile high, really good. But what's the number one go-to for you then out there in Shreveport, huh?
Oh man, dude, we're in Cajun country, so I mean, between the crawfish etouffee, we got a place called Bergeron's right around the corner from us, and it looks like this rundown gas station, right? But it's all upscaled, nice, done on the inside, and they got these deep fried boudin stuffed pepper jack balls. They got some of the best smoked wings I've ever had. And it's a little, you walk in, grab your stuff, and you go. But then. Yeah, hey, the etouffee there, hands down. They got some lobster mac and cheese. Etouffee.
What is that?
Etouffee. So it's so within the Cajun, man, you got the roux that they do, right? So you got your peppers, your onions, your celery, and they kind of get everything that beautiful brown color. Then they throw in all the vegetables. But then with this, man, you get the crawfish, the good spices. You just top that over some rice. Oh man. Yeah. Yeah. So I've been trying to dabble in making, gumbos and everything else. Was doing a lot of boudin stuffed smoked chickens that I've been making.
Yeah.
Just got to get the flavor of it, man. Yeah,
My
this
Cajun's a
2 week.
jam though. Have you seen the dude
Hey.
on Facebook, right? That's guys, he calls it the Cajun two-step.
Oh
And he's like,
yes.
while we wait, we hydrate. I got that dude's Cajun
Oh,
seasoning and it's amazing. I
hey,
put it on everything I make.
dude, it's so I mean, you got your traditional Cajun seasoning you can pick up at the grocery store, right? They got
Yeah.
the local stuff that they'll have here. Oh
And
man,
I love
you're
that. That's like the
sweating,
best.
sweating. Just open the bag, you're smelling it. You
Yeah,
know,
you start
but
crying before you even put it in
yes.
the recipe, and you're like, "Oh yeah, this is right."
Oh
And
man,
I'm a
it's
big fan of that too. I love being a local supporter. Like my biggest thing too, I love to
that's
do is do local coffee.
yep.
Because
That
there was a couple coffee companies that they had, like the Railroad Coffee Company or something out in North Dakota. I liked drinking their
yep.
stuff, and then
The same thing I'm
I
doing
couldn't even
here, man.
imagine. Oh yes,
Yeah, so they got this Red River Brewery,
okay,
brewing company. So it's right there off. It's on the way to work, so I stop in there.
yeah,
Give me a. They got a 40-gram mocha frappe, coffee frappe thing, whatever, extra shot of espresso. But their coffee's
okay.
good. But they do local pastries brought in from other little shops here. Dude, they
Mm,
got this bacon egg puff. Man, this is like this
bacon.
beautiful flaky crust dough stuffed with scrambled eggs and bacon. Super simple, man. I started making them, but it's the convenience of just stopping through and grabbing that on the way to work. And
Yeah, and
like I said, little
it turns
local
into like
shop.
a thing, you know.
Oh yeah. I mean, they know my order. As soon as I pull up, they give me my little military discount. They're like, I haven't
Hmm.
seen it in a while. Well, it's all up in TDY, but the mom and pop stuff, man.
And
You
I
gotta have
love
that.
that too because there's not much of it. You know, my favorite thing from Minot was going down to what was it called? It was that diner that they had down there by
Oh,
um
I know exactly
I guess it wasn't as important
the
if I can't remember
pancakes.
it. What is
Yeah,
it?
I know, man. That's sitting here by the truck stop that's over there.
Yeah.
Starts with a
Shots
K.
something. It starts with a K.
Kroll's
Oh,
Diner.
Kroll's Diner. That's what it is.
Yes. That was
I love that place. Anybody that ever
yes.
goes to North Dakota or Minot, if you go to Minot, you need to go to Kroll's Diner. But
Yeah.
man, it's the atmosphere of
Oh
places
yeah.
like that where you walk in and everyone's just like, "Ah, how you doing?" And I love that. I just went to a place here called Waffles and Pancakes, and it's incredible because I go in there and all the waitresses know everybody. They're like, "Bob, how you doing today?" And I'm like, "See, this is the way it's
Yeah.
supposed to be, man, because we're just so caught up in a lot of stuff. So it's nice every now and then to be able to
I
just,
mean,
I don't know, feel that again. It's like I think about it like the old barbershop vibe. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Yeah.
Well, I mean, but the thing is, and everything's at the fingertips nowadays, man. So if you don't want to
Mhm.
go out because you don't want to deal with anybody, you just DoorDash it.
Yeah.
You know. And so
And
you got other
sometimes I
people.
DoorDash, but the only thing I
Hey,
DoorDash now is the Wendy's Baconator, breakfast Baconator. Mm.
hey. So their maple bacon chicken sandwich.
Ooh,
That's that's fire.
I might have to check
Wendy's
that
has it.
out. Because when I first got the Wendy's breakfast, I didn't understand what the hell those fries were. And I was like, whatever, man, I guess I'll just eat them. And then I
Hey,
tried one of them, and oh my goodness,
amazing.
they're like
Yes.
life changing.
It
How
was
is
like two
nobody else
weeks
on
ago.
that?
2 weeks ago, I had them for the first time, and I was like, "What are these things?" Yes,
It's ridiculous. And then that
you know,
ghost pepper ranch sauce.
haven't had that.
I'm just, oh, you got to get it. Yeah,
Okay,
I have one sitting as backup in my refrigerator at all times. Because sometimes, Wendy's will be like, yeah, sure, we'll give you your order, but we're gonna miss something. And I'm like, okay, thanks, I appreciate that. Usually it's the ghost pepper ranch sauce, so now I have a backup at all
see,
times.
I've got to have to check that out.
Man,
Yeah,
all right, so it's cut into some of the goods. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So
yeah,
you've
man.
been in for 20 years. You said one of your biggest
Yeah,
achievements is being in and staying in for this long. Um, I'm kind of curious on how all of that kind of started, right? You came into security forces. What was your first base? And what did that kind of actually, well, backstep one more time. What did that look like you coming into security forces? Did you choose it or was it given to you?
no. So it's one of those things where you come in having hopes and aspirations as a young 18-year-old with them
Mm.
dangling cash in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
Things don't work out, and then you're provided options. Either you get out or you're going to go in this direction.
Yeah.
Well, I knew I didn't have an option to get out. I had nothing to go back to.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, all right, man, security forces, they showed the dirt bike video jumping out of planes. I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
can do this. So this was, I came in March of 2002. So get through tech school. My first base was F.E. Warren.
Okay.
So I remember getting my assignment. They're like, yeah, you're going to F.E. Warren. I was like, is that overseas? And they're like, no, they're like, it's in Cheyenne. I was like, is this overseas? You
Yeah.
know,
No, no, it's a deployment to the States, my
the,
guy. Oh.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, lo and behold, I end up in Cheyenne, Wyoming in August of 2002.
Mm-hmm.
And man, what a ride.
Yeah.
Of course, 19 years old, or just about to turn 19 at that point, looking at this barren environment. But
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you, man, as a troop coming in, I could not have asked for a better setup.
Mm.
And I'll still hold true to this, man. Us new troops, man, job knowledge wise, we've got it. You know, it's the discipline that we had to come into, because it's not like
Yeah.
any other base where you can gray area stuff. New troops,
Mm-hmm.
man, we had to know things word for word. I mean, it was just,
Yeah.
and it really stuck with me and set the tone for the rest of my younger years as an airman.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man. So I went from FE, did a couple years there, then got an assignment over to Andrews. Um,
Okay. Oh,
did a
yeah,
couple
yeah.
deployments out of there. Did the Raven gig. Then went to Travis. Did a couple deployments out of there. Did the Raven gig. Then Fort Leonard Wood, where I was a SRT instructor with the
Okay.
Army for 4 years, and then Minot, where I met you. At that point, tail end of the career, man. 17 years in when I got to Minot. Well, not 15 years in.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, man. So it's been a good career. Can't complain.
So my next question, and this changes with a lot of, because ever since right when I got in, I've always been the individual that kind of hangs around the older crowd, the experienced crowd, because I like to talk to people who have been through things, because that's what helps me get through things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's why I know so much at a younger age, is because I ask people that have been through similar situations. My question for you is, and I want to see if it's kind of similar, because a
Yeah,
lot
man.
of folks have said that it changes as you serve. So what was the first thing that kept you and made you reenlist? And then throughout the years, what kept you in and what
Mm,
kept you doing the security forces gig?
man. At the very beginning, the first
Mhm.
reenlistment, man, I already had a couple deployments underneath the belt.
Yeah.
And to me, there was a brotherhood,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, we all kind of stayed in. I felt like getting out, I'd be leaving them,
Yeah.
you know?
God, I wish we had that now, because, oh, man, when I tell
Yeah,
you, I
right,
don't feel that. Woo!
right.
I
Uh,
wish.
but I mean, dude, we chewed a lot of dirt together, so it's just one of
Yeah.
those things. And so uh, now my 10-year mark, I almost got out. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
man, I'm done. I'm done. Uh, Old lady got pregnant. I was like, fuck,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it would have been in a little gap of where I wouldn't have had insurance coverage when she was due. And man, so I was like, all right, let me just bite the bullet, right?
Okay.
So re-enlisted, and that was for family. Thank God I did, man, because she had a horrible delivery. She almost died on the table.
Damn.
I mean, dude, little man was huge. He was like 10 pounds, 23 inches long. I was like, you better get a damn job.
Yeah.
Um, mom was left,
Comes out
struggling,
with a mustache. You're like, my
oh,
guy.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So it was personal reason. I felt like that was the best thing for me to do. And at that point, I was like, man, they got me. I'm at 10 plus years,
Mm-hmm.
and so now I just got to figure out a way to ride out the rest. So it
Yeah.
first one, man, it was nothing selfish. It was more selfless because, like I said, man, I had my guys, and I at that point truly loved what I was doing.
Yeah. That's neat too, because a lot of from a lot of the NCOs that I've talked to, it's kind of reversed, right? Um, it started off with 4 years later, 6 years later, I was now married and I had a kid, so I kind of felt like it was my duty to kind of stay in, and
Yeah.
provide for the folks. But then after that, the next enlistment, it came from putting on staff, becoming an NCO, becoming a
Hmm.
supervisor, and then now you're staying in for the troops. Now you're like, I can't get enough of being a supervisor. I can't get enough of taking care of my folks. And
Yeah.
it's neat to hear that, especially because I got those answers from people that I did not expect it from either. Some of the crustier NCOs where I'm like, man, so like, what kept you in, man? What are you still doing here? And it's like, honestly, it's the troops. Like,
Yeah.
fuck everything else. I don't care about all this other stuff. It's literally the troops and taking care of them and getting them towards, greatness or whatever they want. And yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we've kind of talked about little stuff on that on the other side, man. It's you've got 100 people, man, and if you can reach 10,
Mm-hmm.
that's a win, right? And
Yeah.
so it is, man. It's almost a drug. It becomes an addiction.
Mm-hmm.
As a supervisor, you're trying to reach that person and get through to them because you can see it. It's right there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and when the breakthrough happens, man, it's like, fuck, I told you, let's do
Yeah.
this. Game on now. You know.
And that's
So it
that's
is,
something that
man.
we have going on right now too. Is I have one of my folks that I have taken under my wing. I just QC'd. So it's funny you started talking about the nuke troop and all that, like
Hmm.
just knowing the information, man, down pat. And I come out here and I'm dealing with some of the folks out here that just they want to know the information, but it's all gray, so you don't really need to know it like that. But then you go, yeah, in mine, you got A1Cs that can read you the whole book, right? I was one of the guys too, where I was like, you know what? Instead of you just asking me questions, how about I tell you what's on page 1, the glossary, page
Yeah.
2, it's all the
Right.
acronyms, and it just keep going, right? But I came out here and it's a little bit like it's just different. It's a different
It
vibe.
is.
But I'm learning all my information on top of learning all the airmen's information, and then on top of that, becoming an NCO and a supervisor for my very first time in my
Yeah, man.
career. Right? It's a different change. But I'm still studying my information, man. And one of my cats, he ended up failing his QC, right? Which
Yeah.
is never a good thing. I ended up passing my QC, and I hope it's kind of like motivation to him because I was like, man, you just got to do it. What I'm telling you, I'm not putting bullshit in your ear right now when I tell you how to study this information because I just studied mine, yours, and became a supervisor all at the same time. And I passed, man. And I'm a nuke troop. I've never done LE stuff before. But
Yeah.
right now, this kid's spitting things out now, and it's amazing. You ask him a question, he goes, "Oh, Sarn, it's this," and you're like, "Yes, man, I told you, man, just keep doing it." And it's like it's so motivating.
And
It
when you
really
you
is.
see that spark, man, and just that flame just starts to fucking hit. And so
Oh yeah.
and then they get belief in themselves, man. And so as soon as they start to get a
Mm-hmm.
little bit of trust and belief in themselves, dude, they know it's game over, man. You're
Oh
not gonna
yeah.
stop them.
And I wish the best for him too, man, because he about a month and a half ago he actually wrecked his vehicle, man. Believe it or not, it was a nicer vehicle, and ever since then things have been just kind of going downhill. And I'm like, look, dude, you have an option right now to let this make or break you. Why are you gonna let you wrecking a vehicle and you've been able to walk away from this fine ruin you? Like, dude, there are so many bigger things out there, right? And then at the same time, just kind of conveying to him, like, hey, man, you've been constantly getting in trouble, like since that happened. And I'm like, dude, you're now becoming a crosshair. Like you are inside of the crosshairs right now, and you don't want to be that guy. And I think it's finally starting to make sense to him where he's like, you know what? I get it. I get it. And I'm like, this is it. Everything is still in your control. You have full control right now. You had full control the first time. All you needed to do was study your information, go past that QC, and you would have been fine. Now, second time around, you were still in full control, whether you believe it or not. You just got to study a little bit more. But if you fail one more time, you're no longer going to be in full control. You're going to be pulled in off duty to study. Your life's going to get tougher. And he's like, you know what, Sarn, you're right. You're right. And I'm like, yes, say it, man. Scream it,
Yeah, man. And so sometimes, and talking about that, you being a supervisor, and I mean, we can sit there, we can pull them over at the job at work, right, and sit down with them and kind of cover down on some things.
Yeah.
But sometimes, you bring them in off duty, right? Whether you go meet them for lunch or something, you sit
Mm-hmm.
down, you cover down on, you get personal, you get real with them, right? And so they see that you're human as well, right? And so man, sometimes the kid just needs a little bit of guidance. Sometimes they need that tough love. So don't be afraid to smack them around. I mean, we all
Yeah.
learn differently, man. And the one thing I would always take away from my guys is I'd always ask them where they're from,
Yep.
right? Because it's gonna let me know how I could talk to them. Like I got some inner city kid, man, I could be just hammered down through and direct.
Mm-hmm.
Versus some kid that grew up, rural, Midwest somewhere, close knit family, and you got a different tactic, be a little bit more gentle, but still deliver that message.
Mm-hmm.
And so, dude, where's this kid from?
I don't know exactly where he's
Uh,
from, but what I can tell you is what raised him was being given everything.
I
He's been
see.
given everything in life. So now after wrecking his vehicle and getting a sense of what the real life is, me and
Hmm.
your boy, you remember we talked about him the other day. Me and him have been working with this gentleman and telling him, hey man,
Yeah.
look, the real world will wreck you if you let it. If you let this choose your path, it will absolutely tear you up. And he's now finally starting to understand, like, hey, man, I'm not going to be giving shit anymore. Like, it's now time for me to go out and get what I want, you know? So that's kind of what we're working on him with, is kind of telling him, hey, man, if you want it, you can go get it, but nothing's going to be given to you anymore. So.
Oh, man, it's simple. It's time to nut up. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, dude, you fell, smack your face, dust yourself off, get your shit back together, start moving. All right. The longer you sit there on the fucking X, man, you're just going to start taking blows. So.
And it's happening.
Get your shit together.
Yeah.
He just starts to wallow in his own bullshit. Hey, man, shit's going to happen. Learn from it.
And you remember.
Don't make the same mistake.
Earlier in the morning telling him that, and I was like, look, man, like you're gonna be in the crosshair now, and you're letting this. I'm gonna tell you man to man right now what I see. I see somebody who looks like they don't give a shit anymore. You're letting this tear you up, and nobody wants to talk to you anymore because they just think you don't give a shit about shit, man. And he's like, well, that's not the thing. And then 4 hours later, he comes back and he goes, sorry, you're right. Yeah, I started thinking about it, and you're right. I'm letting this tear me up. I'm letting this choose, I'm letting this take me down the wrong path, and I don't want it to be like that. So then we started talking about other things, and I'm just kind of teaching him how to be that professional airman now. No longer be that cool kid. I want you to now, you need to be that airman now. No longer cool kid. You need to be that airman.
Let me ask you, man, did you have one of those points, that someone, that kind of got to you, and then, how'd that work?
For me personally, I was doing the Ellie-ish side when I was on in Minot, right? And we were studying some of the material, and the guy came in. He's like, hey, he's like, yo, Mikey, what's the answer to this? And I'm like, He's like, okay, cool. You've had all weekend to study, so how about this one? And I'm like, and he's like, okay, here's one that everybody should know. There's no way you don't know this. And then I didn't know it. And he goes, you know what? Fuck you. And then he looks at everybody else in the room too, because we didn't have any of the answers. He goes, fuck all of you. Like, I came in here on my off-duty time to make sure that you guys knew this information, but you guys don't give a shit. So you know what? It's up to you. And if you fail your QC, life's going to suck. And then he walks out. There's a lot more dirty language kind of in there.
Oh, yeah.
But we all looked at each other, and then finally, like 5 minutes go by, and we're like, this is legit. Like, this dude literally just walked out on us. So then I started hitting the books really, really heavy. And then I ended up switching because I didn't want to go fifth side. I wanted to go 91st. So they actually gave me the call that was like, hey, man, you can either go or stay. And my folks are actually under the impression that I wanted to stay. But I told them, I think it's better if I go. And that's kind of what fueled. I got lucky in a sense because I brought to them somebody who wanted to be on fifth side and I wanted to be on 9-1. So I was like, it doesn't make sense for us to not do this. So all of that happening at once, when I went 7-9-1, I ended up just studying my ass off. I got to the point where, like, I knew that book, front to back. And I didn't want to be that dude in the room where if they go, hey, man, do you know this? And I go, no, I don't. And then everyone looks at me like, why the fuck do you not know that? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to be that guy. So that's what fueled me. And I also wanted to be left alone. It got to the point where I was like, look, if I want to be out there for 12 hours, I want to do what I want to do. I don't want leadership in my ass all the time. So that's what I've told this airman. I'm like, dude, the best way to get left alone is to know you. That was kind of like my senior airman to him kind of talk was like, hey, man, if you want to get left the fuck alone, learn your information. And every time we come out there, you just go blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, let me go find somebody who doesn't know that much. And then you can let that feed your ego, you know? That was a good question. I appreciate you for asking me that. I don't usually get questions on here. So
hey, dude, it's all about turning the things around so you can just become better, what you're doing for your guys. So
that's what I'm freaking saying, man. On the topic of troops, man, you got any stories about just one that just either makes you laugh a lot or just one of those kind of like just was so outlandish where you're like, I just don't even know how this was a thing,
I think one that pops off right off the bat, man, and it's dealing with adversity, right? And kind of dealing with the hardship of telling someone the hard truth, right?
Yeah.
Even though one, because let's be real, man. You become friends with some of your troops. It's natural. You guys always around each other. You learn each other, and so
Yeah,
that
we're
natural
human,
gravity, yeah, it kind of happens that way, right? But you keep that professional, line there.
Hmm.
So in fact, we'll go back to the Minot days, right? I was doing the whole TRF thing that had
Yeah.
me reconfiguring the team, doing all these tryouts. I had one of my guys who was a charger. Yeah, dude, he was a
Hmm.
fucking pit bull for me on flight when I was in 791. Wanted to go TRF.
Hmm.
Thought it could be like, hey, I could just pull you over. I was like, it's not how this works, man. This is
Yeah.
you're trying out. Everybody's trying out. I was like, I
Hmm.
fired guys that were already on the team that tried out because I'm trying to get rid of this cancer culture, right?
Oh
And
yeah,
so
I
I had
remember that.
I was having to cut it all out, man. And dude, I was the enemy for a lot of people. Cool,
Yeah.
man. Yeah, doesn't hurt my fucking feelings. I still sleep great at night.
Yeah. Got a
Um,
job to do at the end of the day, man.
yeah, man. And so kid comes out, he tries out, doesn't get selected.
Yeah.
Um, and so pretty butthurt. And I tell him, hey, this is why, right?
Hmm.
And he starts running his fucking mouth. And then shortly thereafter, get TRF stood up, and a couple months go by, and I know this guy's been talking trash,
Yeah.
but I still just let him kind of go through his process, right? I'm over as the MSAW superintendent, and there's an opportunity that we need some new CRF bubbles.
Hmm.
So he gets pulled over to CRF.
Mm.
Some shit goes down, and I had to kick him off CRF.
Wow.
And so yet again, there's already conflict between this individual and I, and having to sit there and be like, hey, you're the reason things are fucked up.
Hmm.
You did this, which led to this. Now you're going back to where you are.
Yeah.
Um, and I told him, because whenever I was sending him back to the unit he came from, it was where his strengths were, because I knew what his strengths were. He wanted to be something that he just really wasn't. And it's fine. We all have what our niche is, right? And where
Yeah.
we're best suited. And as a leader, something you're gonna have to find out down the road, man, is you are gonna have people that you're dealing with. Some are gonna be, your LE savvy dudes. You're gonna have your admin dudes, And so where
Hmm.
to kind of strategically place these people to where one, it benefits a team, but it makes your life easier,
Yeah.
right? And so I remember sending this kid back, and I was like, look, this is the section you need to go to.
Hmm.
I will be more than willing to help you out, get you set up, make you successful as long as you are willing to be successful, put in the work. Man, this kid goes in, he listens to me, right?
Yep.
Because he knows
Yep.
I'm always going to be real with him. Goes in, we have the NSI come up.
Mm. Mm.
I sat down with him, told him how to prep his section. Dude, him and his team get out, superior team. He gets identified as superior performer, right? And just it was all fired, man. And
Hmm.
so it did. It took him a while, but he came back around saying, "Hey, look, I'm really sorry about the shit I was saying." I was like, "Dude, first of all, I was like, I don't give a fuck. I appreciate it, but
Yeah.
you're not gonna hurt my fucking feelings. This is a job. I've got a
Hmm.
job to do. It's not anything against you personally. It's just professionally, I did not have a place for you." Some people don't understand that, and so they'll mix and skew the lines. To this day, the kid PCS, he's no longer there, but dude,
Yeah.
constant contact, constant reaching out, because one, as a friend, I'm going to tell him where he's fucked up. As a
Hmm.
supervisor, leader, I'm going to tell you where you fucked up. All right, but you don't leave it as that. Hey, man, so where do you think you can build from? And getting them to think through their own problems. But I mean, dude, that's just one thing. So you see when people stumble, when they fall,
Oh
when
yeah.
they're blaming others, they're blaming the source of which they think is their fucking problem, when all they need to do is look inside, right? Look in that
Hmm.
fucking mirror. All right, hey, this is where I fucked up, and take ownership, right? And so that's one of the things that I've always pressed on the guys. Man, you're going to fuck up. I expect you to fuck up. Take
Hmm.
ownership of it, right? But when you keep fucking up the same things, we're not learning. And when
Yeah.
you stop learning, that's where I'm going to start to fucking hammer you. And so, dude, I think we as a career field, and you can, from the base that you're at now to where you've been, we harp that everything has to be perfect. All right. You can never be wrong. Nothing can ever fucking go wrong. When in reality, man, dude, that skews the fucking young troops' minds to where they're fucking scared to fucking do anything. right? And
Things
so
go wrong every day.
absolutely, man. But so, you ask Airman Snuffy a fucking question and he just sits there. In his mind, he's like, well, I know the question, but if I'm wrong, I'm going to get fucked up. But if I don't say
Yeah.
anything, I might not get fucked up as bad.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've created this culture on our own by saying, no, everything's going to be fucking this way. You're X, Y, Z. Man, it's not a fucking checklist, bro.
Yeah.
Dude, there's learning that has to occur. You need to let your people fail. And I know that is just mind blowing to some. All right. So your troop that failed, his QC, your troop that, he wrecked his fucking car, whatever,
Yeah.
dude, these are all learning experiences that are going to shape him down the road, and he's either going to take it and fucking thrive or he's going to let it fucking bury him. Two choices, man. Two choices.
And he's been choosing the latter, man. We're trying to pull him back in,
And it's not too late once you get down that road a little bit, man, especially if you got someone like
yeah.
you that is there to help him realize, be like, look, man, this shit ain't all fucking rainbows and fucking cupcakes.
Mm-hmm.
All right, dude, you're in the fucking military now. You're not in mommy daddy's fucking little, pocket.
Yeah.
You are on your own. Be a fucking man. Dude, take your lumps. You're gonna take, dude, we've all taken them. Fuck, dude,
Oh,
39, and I'm still taking lumps. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and, from a, person that's been in as long as I have to, this new generation of leaders that are coming up to the airmen are coming in today. Don't be afraid to fuck up. Don't cover it up, right? Have the ownership, because that's going to get you a lot fucking further. But learn from your mistakes. That is, man.
Yeah, it seems like a lot more airmen are choosing the flight response instead of the fight response, which is something I don't think, and it's very bad right now because, hey, man, we're not really at war, right? We're not doing anything crazy, right? But if the time fucking came, you know what I'm saying? We need to be ready. I'm not going to give anybody an answer as to how we're operating right now, but I'm going to tell you that if the time fucking came, we need to be willing to fucking answer, and people need to know their material. Because that's what I kind of try to convey to him too. I was like, look, man, I'm going to give this to you in two ways. Okay. The first way is we operate as cops. Okay. So you need to know what you're fucking doing in order to be my alpha. Because if you don't know what you're doing, that's going to get me killed. Now let's back it up a little bit. Okay. We're not out shooting people. We're not running fire team operations right now, trying to fucking do CQB, right? We're learning information. You as my alpha need to know information. If you don't know information, that means you're not doing your job correctly. That means you can't be on my fire team because you don't know what you're doing and you need to know what you're doing. And he's like, that makes sense. And I'm like, well, I know. I know it does. But I try to give it them in two ways. The very serious way, like, hey, man, if the time comes, we need to be able to answer. You need to know this material. But in the broad spectrum of things, you're expected to know this stuff, and you've been in for 4 months. I need to see that you can do that if you expect to be on my fire team. That's the whole point. Because if you keep messing up, the Air Force has things for you, right? We got civilian below the zone. We can push you in that direction, but I don't want to do that. That's the last thing I want to do as a fucking supervisor and NCO is have that one day where they go, hey man, we're pushing this guy out. I'm like, nah, man, there's it's in there, man. It's fucking in there,
So, as a young staff, man, granted it was different times, you kind of hit on, we're not at war, when I was a young staff, we were. And so it was a different mentality. I was that pit bull. I was one that the fucking, the text and masters were like, Spitty, go get it. Got it. Done. Go shoot some fucking ass. We go do some PT. All right. But, it's funny as I've gotten older, right? One, I don't fucking move around like I used to. I'm broke as shit. And so I've learned to take a different kind of mindset. And this is one thing I wish I would have known as a younger NCO, but it's more of the dad approach. All right. You foster this family environment. And I used to tell the guys, man, this is a team. It's a family. It's a dysfunctional fucking family, but it's our family. And so you foster that mentality of, hey, we're not doing things as individuals just to do them. We're doing them. The reason I need you to do well in this is because you're going to be taking care of this person, or like you're saying, be on my team, be my alpha, because then you start developing that I don't want to let anyone else down. I don't want to be the reason that something got fucked up and they're hurt or, this went wrong. A good buddy of mine we were talking about our airman days and he grew up in the 820th. Okay. And so they had a thing that if they got in trouble by their NCO, they had to go find a buddy a random buddy in their unit and ask them to go get smoked with them. Or, okay, remedial training. Okay,
Yeah. Because that would
and
be
so
hazing.
right. But so
And
and he's like, dude, he's like, it happened to me twice. And he's like, it only took 2 times. He's like, because I felt like such a dick. He's like, I had to go to one of my buddies and be like, can you come with me? We're gonna go get smoked. And they're like, fuck. You're like, all right, let's go.
Yeah.
But
that's fucking beautiful. Are you kidding me?
It's teaching that, hey man, the reason this person. Are you there?
Yep.
Okay.
You're kind of disconnected. You're going in and out. Yeah. There we go. Okay, now you're good.
But yeah, man, it was just one of those things where it's, it fosters that, like I said, that family. You don't want to disappoint somebody because you're fucking stupid, So it makes you think twice about not doing some stupid shit, But it also,
for the sake of the folks around you,
where they're like, yeah, man. And so it just drives that home. And so, like I said, man, you can take both aspects and be that fucking pit bull, and then still have that fatherly approach.
What's crazy about that, I love about that too, is because it like you said, right, it fosters that looking out for your teammates mentality, but it's not the blanket punishment that people know and fucking love to do for some reason. You're not shitting on the whole fucking unit by trying to instill, hey man, you need to, operate with your team too, Now you're still fostering that mentality without having to fucking punish a whole damn unit. And I think that that's incredible. I'm so glad you actually mentioned that. I think a lot of people will probably benefit from literally hearing that when they listen to this. That's incredible.
Yeah, so, one thing, when I was a flight chief with 791, man, I got spoken to by the commander numerous times about what I was doing because I don't like paperwork. I fucking hate doing paperwork.
Yeah.
1, I hate writing it. 2, one fuck up and you're getting some bullshit, right? You're not getting a deck leaving, whatever the case is. And so the guys knew in the field that, I'll just say, hey, they left a weapon unsecure. We'll keep it that simple on this one, right?
I got a story for this too. Yeah, let's say.
Yeah. So I remember doing a post check at a MAF and finding something in a vehicle. And man, bring that into the vehicle, and I'm just there to check some 1800s, right? I'll go in, start talking to the guys, be like, hey, go get all your shit. Where's your weapons at? Of course, Airman Snuffy comes out. I'm like, all right, where's that, man? He's like, I was like, I got it for you. I'm here for you. I'm like, where's your alpha? Where's your lead? And he comes up, and I was like, all right. I was like, what's your button number? He's like, I don't know, sir. I was like, cool, I do. I can read. Don't worry. I was like, you want option A or option B? What's option A? Option A is paperwork. I was like, here's the thing about paperwork, man. I was like, you fuck up once, right? And like I was just saying, man, your deck is going to be thrown out the fucking window more than likely, and it's going to stick with you. And I was like, I don't like that. I was like, option B? I was like, whatever the fuck I say it's going to be. And they're like, I was like, so do you want option A or option B? They're like, option B. And I'd go around, everybody sees they want option B.
Yeah.
Yep. I was like, okay. I was like, your button number's 206. I was like, you got the rest of the day. You and your partner both owe me 206 burpees. Get it done.
Hey.
Okay. Because, and he's like, of course, the lead's like, well, why am I here? You're the lead. You were supposed to be looking out for each other. You didn't. You're just as fucking responsible. Right. I mean, I had a kid that they left the MAF and he forgot an ammo can. Right. He carried around a 35-pound weight for the rest of his fucking tour. He ate with it, slept with it, fucking, everything. And that was his token to get his ammo can back.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Because imagine being in a firefight and that's the one can that you needed. But guess what? You fucking left it.
Yeah. And so, everybody in that team had some weight to carry.
Yeah.
But, I did. I got spoken to. Well, why are you doing this? This is hazing. I was like, it's not hazing. I was like, it's remedial training. I was like, everything is involved based around the team concept, not to do it again. I was like, and we talked through it. I was like, and I gave them the option whether they want paperwork or this.
And they chose it. So
and
it blows my mind that shit's considered hazing, and but it's ridiculous. But I mean, there's obviously ways to handle these scenarios nowadays to be a little bit more, I guess you could say, PC. But it's ridiculous. Like if you do something fucking stupid, drop and give me 20 push-ups. I'll drop and give you there was somebody in In Minot, I was at MSOS, right? I left my CAC in one of the offices, and I come back in, and he goes, "Hey, man." I'm like, "What's up?" He's like, "You left your CAC, huh?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "All right, you get it back if you give me 20 push-ups." Literally gave him 20 push-ups, no problem. Got my CAC back. I didn't have a problem with it, but it made sense to me. I was just like, you know what? You're right. You know what? That's my mistake. Because if somebody that shouldn't have their hands on my CAC gets their hands on it, it's not going to be a good day, especially when we're talking about people being able to get into this installation with my credentials, because you know damn well not everybody looks at the ID and goes, you know.
Yeah, but and I think the way that me personally, I was able to get around with this and not have EO called as much as I probably should have, is because I fostered that relationship with them. That hey, I'm going to fucking take care of you.
Yeah.
Be honest with me. I would always tell them, Garma, hey, go fuck up something new today. Just don't get me to the commander's office. A couple times I was in the commander's office, but hey, that's what I'm here for.
But,
and I would always tell
I'll
them, hey,
fight for you. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and I'll tell them, hey, this rooftop. I was like, this rooftop is to push shit out of the fucking way for you. I was like, to shield you from all the bullshit that comes from fucking leadership, so you can do your fucking job. I was like, so I work for you, And so once they hear that, they know I wasn't out to just fuck with them. There's learning that's going to be taken care of. I'm going to fucking take care of you, but I need you to do this. Do your fucking job. That's all I'm asking you. Not do anything else, anything extra. Just do your fucking job.
Speaking of that too, man, it was crazy. Finally now being a not a training NCO, but now being an NCO, being a supervisor, and being able to. I am now that last portion of the mountain to where now I decide on how this gets rolled onto the airmen, and usually it's telling the airmen like, look, man, we shouldn't be doing that, but it's going to be all right. These are things that we can fix. But the talk that I got to was, what the fuck are they thinking? Right. But then you go talk to them and they're like, hey guys, you know what? Hey, we'll fix it. All right. It's too easy. It's small stuff. We'll hammer it down and we're going to look good. We're going to look real good, But dude, my first 3 fucking days on flight, I had to write an LOR.
Yeah.
Keyword had.
You were directed to, right?
I was directed to, because before I even decided to write it, I said, you know what? Do I have the option to stand up and say, I'm not going to do this? And they go, nope. They're like, they will do it themselves if you decide not to do it. So the reason I did it was because it now made it a flight level LOR, meaning, you know what that is. I can remove it whenever the hell I want to.
Yep.
And this airman's been doing very good since then. And I'm actually going to remove it before he goes on deployment, take it right out. It's going to be done. But yeah, he left his weapon unattended. Now, the way he did it was not good. He left it in the back seat of the posting vehicle with the window down, loaded. And guess who found it? The captain. The captain.
The captain. Opso was out running around. Okay.
Yeah. If it was a flight chief, if it was a tech sergeant, easy. We would have squashed it. We would have taken him out to one of the other posts and smoked him for a little bit. We would have had a good little session, never talked about it again. But somebody else found it. Right? And that's just one of the things, though, because on something like that, that's
cover that one up.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And it's the idea of trying to convey like, hey, man, what if somebody else got their hands on that weapon? Not only did you just leave your weapon, you left a loaded weapon in the backseat of a vehicle with the window down. That means it was accessible to anybody and everybody.
Oh, yeah.
If somebody was not having a good day that day and they got their hands on it, that's 30 shots, man. That's 30 rounds that they could have sent for anything. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, I get it. And it started with, he took responsibility, but at the same time, he didn't. He was like, I know that I did it, but, the window wouldn't go down. And I'm like, did you just blame an inanimate object? I'm like, it's your weapon, man. Carry it on you. He's like, yeah, but they took too long to do my appointment. And I'm like, you take your weapon, man. We are cops. We go everywhere with our weapon besides into the medical building. You know this.
Yep.
And he's like, all right. And I'm like, yeah, or you could have turned in. Because that's another thing, too. If you're if you get properly relieved, go back to the armory, turn your weapons in, and then you can go to your appointment. And he's like, oh, I would have never thought about that. And that was the learning experience. Hey, man, next time you go through this, how about you go to the armory, turn your weapons in, go handle your business like you need to, take your time, come back, get your stuff, and go. Because now that we're not in the nuke world, it's a little bit different. We have things that we can do. I got ordered to go home a couple days ago because I was sick. I was like, what? And it was the senior too, man. The senior's like, hey, I want you to go home. And I'm like, nah, sir, I'm good. I can do my job. I'm one of the 2 NCOs on flight right now that are certified and able to do the tasks we need to do. He goes, no, I want you to go home. And I was like, no, sir, I'm feeling all right. And he's like, well, are you sick? And I go, well, I'm not sick. I don't feel good, but I'm willing to do the job. And he goes, then I want you to go home. And I was like, well, And then I look away from him and
See,
I start divvying up answers in my brain. And I go, sir, I'm all right. I got a job that needs to get done. I'm going to do it. And he goes, you're going back to squadron right now. I'm calling your master sergeant. You're going home. And I go, oh, shit. And then all of a sudden I'm at home. But that's
Roger
the
that.
mind not mentality that was coming out of my mouth, right? Is that no, you don't get fucking relieved when you're
Oh, yeah.
2 hours away out at post. You know what I'm saying? If you're sick, you're sick. Swallow it up. Do what you got to do. You know, take care of business. And then later that day, you know, maybe something can happen when it's like night shift or something. You know, but that's just the mentality I had.
Make a
but,
calm stop and get some fucking.
Yeah, hey, swallow some fucking pills.
Yeah,
You
I mean,
fucking
it's a
pussy,
different world,
you know.
man.
But I mean, yeah, you know.
Yeah, right.
At the end of the day, like I was laying on the couch, man, and I was like, you know what?
And you know, and that's where it's a.
We got the little breaky going. Can you hear me now?
You there?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, there we. Yeah.
Nice. I was just saying when I got home and I was laying on the couch, man, I was like, you know what? I think it was good that I actually got sent home because the answers I was giving him were not the answers that I would typically give if I was in the right state of mind. Because I did all of that in front of an airman, like I mean, a one striper airman. And I remember telling him like the next day, I was like, don't do what I just did. I have a couple more stripes on my shirt, but at the same time, never talk to, let alone a senior enlisted leader like that. Like that's not, you know, if you get told to do something, you know, most of the time it's out of the kindness. So just do it. But I felt like I was being like, you know what I'm saying? I felt like I was abandoning my post when he was like, go home. I was like, I just can't do it. And he's like, no, but
right.
that's
like my guys are here, man. At least you got someone looking out for you, right? You know, because at the end of the day, bro, we're numbers.
Mm-hmm.
We're numbers. Okay, we're replaceable. And sometimes that's hard for us to think about. End of the day, we're replaceable. So if you get the opportunity because someone's going to take care of you, let them take care of you.
Yeah.
You get the opportunity to take care of your troop, beat feet, man. I got it.
Oh yeah, and if you can take care of yourself, like take care of yourself when you need it. When you're
man.
off, man, be off. You know. But that's I went in.
That.
I know. I'm a 24/7 for me. I like to. I got to be working. Here I am. I'm doing a military podcast. You know, I'm doing everything. I'm always constantly working. Now I'm starting to dial it back a little bit. I'm really starting to dial back and handle what I know I can handle, so I can actually come into work recharged, right? Because I like to shut that. When I'm at work, it's 110%. So when I'm off work, I can actually go 0% work, right? Because I took care of everything when I was there. So I can actually take care of myself. Now that I become an NCO, it gets a little bit more difficult because things follow you home. Troops follow you home. You know, stuff like that follows you home. Now, if you know how to take care of yourself, though, it makes it a little bit easier to where you can still properly recharge yourself for work. But it was nice. I went and talked to the senior and I was like, look, man, I shouldn't have talked to you the way I did. He's like, dude, I didn't give a shit. He was like, I just wanted, it's a good thing for the airmen to see that we'll take care of you. And at the end of the day too, we'll take care of the NCOs as well. I want you to understand that, you know, that we will, it's okay for an NCO to have a day off too. And I'm like, you know what? Because me and your buddy, we're the only NCOs right now on flight. Like we are the only staffs and we're certified now. So it makes it even more double down. Like we got to be posted, you know, and me and him have not had a training day since like 2 months ago. And all these other cats are getting their training days and getting their stuff. So it kind of turned into where like, I need to be doing this. I got to be working 24/7. Now we're finally starting to get people back from deployments. Man. We're starting to get people back from training. Now we're going to start finding those days where hopefully I can get myself a training day. Because all I want to do now that I'm certified, I want to sit down with my folks. I want to sit down with my troops. I want to do ACAs. I want to know what made you join. I want to know what you want. I want to know your goals so we can talk about the Air Force's goals so we can actually set you up for success. Because some of these cats out here have just been doing the job. They've just been jobbing it, but they have no direction as to where you can take yourself, what you can do. This job's coming up. Hey, man, you need to start writing a resume. How do I do that? Well, holy shit, are we failing you right now? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So those are the days now I'm starting to look forward. Now that I've taken care of my certification, now I can start, you know, building these airmen up to be professionals instead of just being fucking gopher airmen, right?
Absolutely, man. You know, and just giving it back, man, you know, and doing the things that you wish that your supervisor would have told you that you had to figure out on your own, making sure that these guys are taken care of, you know? Mm-hmm. So there is a book on how to be a supervisor, right? it doesn't fucking work. All right,
Yeah,
it doesn't fucking work.
yeah,
It gives you,
I wouldn't think it would either.
suggestions. It's just like the parenting, same thing, man. There's no book on parenting. But for us
Yeah.
as supervisors and leaders, there are books. But man, there's not one book that's going to be the correct fucking answer. So,
Yeah.
as a leader, don't, you have to have a broad scope of how you're going to be able to do things, man. Don't
Mhm.
limit yourself to one way. Yeah, and I know that's not your type, man. It's not you at all. But just I guess for the masses out there, find different ways to lead.
I'm glad
One
that
of
you
that is
mentioned
being a
that.
follower.
Oh, keep going. Sorry.
No, go ahead, man.
Well, I was gonna say I'm glad that you mentioned that, because that's always been a mentality that I've had since I was very young. Is I've never understood when when it's a blanket statement that says this is how things are done. I go, well, bullshit, because I've seen it be done before and it wasn't done like that. So why are you telling me that's the way this needs to be done? No, you need to be versatile. You need to know how to handle situations, because the situation, the way it's written out in a book, is probably not how it's gonna fucking go down in real life. And then what are you gonna do? Because all you know is one way. What happens when that way changes and you need to actually react to it?
So, and this is why before I tell someone to do something, I already know the why.
Mm-hmm.
Because when they ask me, hey, well, why are we doing this? Back when I was, a young airman, if I asked why, I was getting a fucking throat punched. All right.
Yeah. What, Sarge?
Now,
What the fuck
yeah,
you just say?
yeah. So now it's kind of adapting.
Yeah.
Dude, maybe I just wasn't smart enough to ask why. I'd be like, oh, fuck it. This is what we're told to do. Let's go fucking do it. Right
Mm-hmm.
now, like, hey, why are we doing this? And there's a difference between being disrespectful, like why. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
then I'm like, I'll fucking tell you afterwards. Go fucking do it.
Yeah.
Versus hey, Sarge, what are we trying to get after? Hey, man, this is the why. You lay it
Mm-hmm.
out for them, because once they know that, they have buy-in, and if you give
Oh
someone
yeah.
buy-in, dude, and so, but is there a way? No, man, there's 1,000 ways to skin a fucking cat. I didn't tell you
Yep.
how to do it. I just told you to get it done.
Yep.
You know.
I think it's crazy too how that wasn't a thing back in the day as well, because that's one of those things. That's one of those incentives. Is you're in for a little while, you start to actually learn the decisive operations behind
Oh
why
yeah.
we do what the hell we do. And there's nothing more motivating than you knowing a little bit more information than everybody else does, because now you're an NCO. Now
Right.
you understand
Right.
the exact reason as to why we operate the way we operate, which is fucking sweet. So it's cool now to see when genuine airmen are asking, like, why are we doing this right here? You'd be like, oh, you know what? Fucking Snoops, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Because if we
Right.
don't man this post right here, somebody can walk right in here. But you know what? We got this beautiful 249 right here for that. And that keeps everybody at bay. It's shit like that. People are like, yeah, Sarge, I love that. And then they go out there
I'll
and they
sit here
man
and
that
do this all
post,
fucking day. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, man, and that's the problem. We tell these kids, dude, they're fresh off the tit, right? Fucking
Yeah.
18 years old, never fucking left home, most of them. And so they just know what they know. I was told to show up to this fucking place.
Yep.
I'm
At
wearing
this
this fucking
time.
uniform. Hey, dude,
Yep.
I'm here. I don't know what I'm doing. Hey,
Yeah.
man.
I was told to shave, wear this, and show up at 08.
Yeah,
Here
man.
I am.
Well, hopefully that shaving thing goes away, man. Yeah,
Yeah,
there
I've
might
heard
be
about that. Look, I'm gonna
there
I'm
might
gonna
be a
cut to the
board on
restroom real quick.
November. Yeah.
Really? In November? Ooh, okay.
So,
Restroom break, and then we gotta chop it up about that. Well, man, 3 cups. 3 cups is too many. How about that? Sheesh. Oh, you said November? Wait, break it down
yeah.
for me. Break it down.
So apparently there's a review board that's going to be taking place on the 2903, and the grooming standards is actually one of the topics that they're looking at. Because currently,
Again, huh?
unless you have a religious waiver or medical waiver, is the only way. But so they're looking at possibly allowing the 1/4-inch beards to be a thing for all. So
That would be sweet. I'm
hey,
not even
man.
gonna lie to you. There's been a couple times where I'm off, right? Been off for
Oh,
like 4 days, and I'm like, yo, woo!
it's nice.
I look sleek, I look nice. Woo. Oh
Yeah, this
man, I can't even
having
imagine.
con leave and everything else, and having to just growl for 4 or 5 weeks. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah. You
So
get back and you're
February,
like, yeah.
February
I always
10th,
want to,
man. Can't wait.
yeah. Every time I'm off and I grow a beard, I always want to take a picture of it before I shave it because I get so sad. I'm like, no.
And you're gonna do that, and then you're gonna have the little transition phases, man. Trust me, everyone's fucking done it. I've
Yeah.
got a guy that he'll shave down the sideburns, have a goatee, then shave off the goatee, then he gets a mustache. So it's just, they do It's a little fucking pic collage of bullshit. You know,
Jeez. You
just
said February 10th. What is that?
February.
Is that's it?
Hey man, last day. So I'll start
Wow.
growing that beard February 11th.
Yeah. But if they let us have beards, how are you gonna tell me the truth? How are you gonna feel about that?
Not good. About fucking time.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There
Yes.
you go. There you
Hey,
go. Be positive. Be
hey man.
positive.
You know, trust me, I've been advocating for this for years. You know, obviously
Yeah.
we got a little bit looser on the mustache regs where you're a quarter of an inch.
It's
Obviously,
about
I'm
time too for
a
that, man.
little
I'm so
past
glad.
that. Yeah. You know, and so I'm hoping that, you know, because it's been pushed for years and years and years, you know, our other services, foreign services obviously have been rocking beards for years.
Yeah. And I
They
look
can't
at
say,
them and I go, I'm not gonna fuck with that guy. How about that? And you see us all baby face.
but what you don't know is that that's a fucking admin troop, right? But
Yeah,
they look,
right.
but they look tough as fuck. Uh,
Yeah. And he's like,
so
hi guys. And you're like, well, now wait a minute. I didn't expect this. But
right,
he's
you
got the
know,
biggest beard ever. Yeah. What are the odds?
hey, you know, it's all about appearance, right?
Yeah.
But you know, there should be some different things coming down. Hopefully, it pops through. You
Okay.
know, the Canadians have it right though, man. So if you haven't read the way they go through the regs for the grooming standards,
Mm,
so you get 6 months to grow a beard. If your CO,
really?
your commanding officer, doesn't like it, you cut it off, and you get another 6 months to try growing it. They don't like it at that point. You have to reapply to grow, you know, your beard out in like another two
Yeah.
years. You know, so you
6
got,
months. That's a lot of time. Oh, God dang.
yeah, right. So you
Wow.
got this little Joe Dirt beard. Hey,
Yeah.
my dude, probably ain't happening, right?
Yeah, I'm so glad I got the genes that I did because I remember when I was a kid, like shaving when I didn't need to shave because I was like, "Mom, I want to get a beard." Now,
Yeah,
I remember my parents being like, "You're gonna hate shaving," and I'm like, "No, I'll never hate shaving." Now I hate shaving, but yeah, I mean, give me a month, man, and I get like a night. I got some solid action going there, so
oh yeah,
that'd be exciting.
I
Hey,
can't wait, man.
Canadians, sauce us your fucking reg real quick, man. We'll use it for a
Oh,
little bit.
it's good, man. They're looking at it, so hopefully that sticks, man. We'll see. But like I said, November we should have something hopefully to look forward to.
That'll be impressive, especially with Chief Bass. She's mentioned the beard thing every now and then. For some reason, it comes up. She'll always go like, "No, we're not going to do anything with beards." But the fact that it's come up so much with her
Yes.
is like it's kind of interesting, right? I kind of feel like they're kind of hinting at something. But
Hey, man. You know it's progressive action, right? We're getting
oh
there.
yeah,
Yeah, it's been on the table for a long time. So I think with the adjustments that we've made through the military over the last we'll just say decade, man.
mm-hmm.
um, it's really had some good movement. It's taken adjustment as supervisors to really know what is allowed and what
Yeah,
people are trying to get away with.
yeah.
But I mean, nonetheless, man, it's we're trying to break this fucking mold. You
Yeah.
know,
Oh, yeah. Because I know we got to fit more into kind of what society's feeling too. Because if we don't, I mean, what's the fucking grab? You're not gonna have anybody that wants to come in here if it's just super fucking strict. Like I get it, we got to have military standards. Don't get me wrong. But when somebody finally started breaking down, it was a tech sergeant too that I talked to because I was like, man, we're getting away from a military standard. We're getting to a everybody standard. As we
yeah.
can't do that. I get that we're trying to fit more towards kind of like society in general, but at the same time, we still have to have the military standards because we still need to be able to keep people in check because it's getting rough. You know what I'm saying? 2903 is a hard
Oh yeah.
read sometimes. Sometimes I'm like, I don't know if you're in regs or not right now. You know what I'm saying? But then again,
But then
you
you're
just got to
like,
keep
I
reading it,
don't
reading
want
it.
to say anything and then come off as
Yeah,
right.
you
And so you're
dick.
like,
But then now that I'm an NCO, I mean, it's one of those things where, like, regardless, I
yeah.
mean, if I don't say something, now it's bad on me because somebody else is going to say something to them and go, well, who's your suit? And they're going to go, well, it's Kelly. And like, why didn't he say anything? They're like,
They're like,
I don't know. You know?
and you can't give that. Well, fuck, I didn't know.
Yeah. Oh, so
Not
you haven't been
anymore.
reading the reg? You're an NCO. You need to be, obviously setting the standard, right? But at the same time, you need to keep your airmen in check, right?
Yeah,
That is
but
your
so
job.
there's a hidden secret, right? Once you start getting up to this, we're hoping, that our staffs and our techs are being kept up on that fucking reg. Because
Hmm.
if not, we're like, is that fucked up? Like, fuck. Let me look this
Yeah.
up real fast. All right, they are fucked up. Let's go get them. Hey, you didn't know this? So
Hmm.
don't let them fucking pull the wool over your fucking eyes, man. Because they just found out
Yeah.
30 seconds prior most of the time. Yeah, I've been guilty of that myself. Be like, I'm not sure if that's right or not,
Well,
but
and I think
let's
it's
fucking look at this.
I'm so glad you mentioned that too, because I think for a lot of the cases where somebody brings up the reg in a conversation, that individual most likely had just read the reg. So when people are like, "Well, how
Yes.
does he know the reg like that?" It's like, no, I actually stood behind you for 2 minutes, read the reg, realized you were in the wrong, and now I'm here to correct you and let you
Yep.
know. And now we can all proceed from, whatever this situation is, right? But we had one of our airmen finally get their haircut because they had like the whole bushy thing going on. And
Oh
they
yeah.
finally got it clean cut. My man came in looking sharp. I was like, man, I was like, you look good, man. I was like, good for you, dude. Good for you. But I also saw a dude the other day. I want to hope that he has some kind of waiver, but that man looked like fucking Harry Potter. Some long ass hair. It was weird. Look, he looked like the dude from rest in peace, by the way. What's his name again? Coltrane? Robbie Coltrane?
Oh
The actor, yeah, from
yeah,
Harry
yeah,
Potter actually passed
yeah,
away.
yeah.
But he had some hair
72
like
years old.
that. Yeah, that's unfortunate to hear, by the way,
Hey,
man. But
you can ask your counterpart on flight. I think he was there. Yeah, we had one guy that came in. I told him, I was like, better get your fucking haircut.
yeah.
Didn't get it. Oh,
Huh,
we
huh.
shaved his fucking head. I got you, buddy.
Hey, there
I
you
got you.
go. Because
You
it's
know.
shit like that where it's like the last thing I want to do for something like that is write you paperwork.
Oh
I've been
yeah.
late a few times. I will admit it. In my not as an instructor, when I thought I started getting this ego to me that is now gone, thank God. But I started getting this like I'm a staff now. I got fed into this fucking ego shit that I shouldn't have, but I did. I'll admit it. I was late a couple times. I'd show up late and I'd be like, it's whatever, man. It's just fucking
Mhm.
job. Now I'm sitting here and I'm trying to instill in these airmen, like, show up on time. And I'm like, the last thing I want to do as an individual is write you paperwork for how many times you've been late when I've been late as well. That's not something we need to be writing paperwork for.
Nah,
It's
man.
such a minuscule. Just be punctual. Just do the job. Go home. Fuck off.
Yeah, but and you're hitting it on there, man. It's you can't ask your guys to do anything that you're not doing yourself, right? And
Exactly.
so if you're not showing up on time, you're not fucking looking crisp. You cannot expect your fucking people to be doing that. And so
Yeah.
as a leader, man, you need to be setting the example. You are the example. If not, I don't want to hear you fucking complain. And that's as a
Exactly.
fucking leader, right?
Oh yeah.
Uh, dude. And I remember getting into some of my peers about some of the stuff that they would fucking write their guys up for. Like,
Mm-hmm.
dude, you are a lazy fuck. All
Yeah,
right,
you probably done it yourself, you fucking dick.
hundred
Like, why are
percent.
you writing them up for that
I was
shit?
like, why do you
Yeah.
think they're fucking doing this? Because they don't fucking see you doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And so, man, that's a challenge, right? Because it puts you in a position to where you are constantly in the fucking microscope. You're
Mm-hmm.
constantly in the fucking light. But that's, man, it's where you'll thrive because your shit's gonna be on point, right? You know you're gonna be there fucking early. You
Yep.
know you're gonna have all this shit because you got people looking up to you. And so once that happens, man, dude, you're like, fuck, it's a lot of stress, and
Oh
it
yeah.
only gets worse. you
Yeah.
know,
Speaking of being early too, me and your buddy out here, we show up about 10 minutes early. That's usually the goal.
mm-hmm.
But now the airmen are showing up at the same time as us, and now I'm starting to get pissed off because I'm like, no, I need to
Fuck,
be the
now I
first
gotta
one
be
here.
there early.
Yeah, I'm
Yep.
like, I'm Dirty Dan. Like, I need to be here first, you motherfucker. But I'll show up and they're already rocking, and I'm like, man. But
See,
that's also another one of those things where you show up and they're already there, and you're like, that's what I'm talking about. Just come in ready to rock and roll. It makes the day fucking better. That's what people forget too. It's all mentality a lot of the
it
times, man. I
is,
get it.
man.
Not every day is gonna be fucking beautiful, flying fucking yeah. This is great. I get that. But if you just wake up and you come in and you go, you know what, man, I'm going to make today a good day. That's energy that you carry through for you for the rest of the day. And then you
It is.
finally get off and you go home and you can fuck off and go sigh, smoke your cigarette, do whatever you got to do, right? But you need to come in with that attack mentality. Because if you don't, you fucking sit and simmer in that shit
Oh yeah,
all day.
it's
Man,
fucking
I just
mindset, dude. It is.
and I
It
want to
is.
let that drag us into that next topic. We have about 15 minutes. I like to kind of end these off at about a
Yeah, man.
minute or 120. But we talk about that mentality, mental health, dealing with toxic leadership.
Oh,
And then I know that you also mentioned PTSD, and I want you to talk about this, how you feel comfortable. I'm not forcing you to talk about shit, but
yeah, yeah.
whatever's comfortable for you. Kind of talk me through for your 20 years of service, 20 plus years, sorry. 20 plus years of service. what did you use? What did you use for getting yourself through the tougher days, for pushing yourself through one of those times where you're like, man, fucking what the fuck? Just please run me through that.
Oh man. All right. So yeah, it's funny. I just had a sit down with my therapist a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking about this kind of exactly.
Yeah.
Um, and it's funny. So we're gonna dabble in a topic that is, uh, I mean, it's sensitive on a couple different levels, right? But look at the hold on, bud. Look at the side of the mental health aspect where you go and do your medical survey, right? They're like, hey, how much do you drink?
Yeah.
1 to 2 a month. It's always 1 to 2 a month, right?
Yeah.
Nothing more,
Yeah.
nothing
Yeah.
less.
Yeah.
Because if I say that I don't drink, I'm mine. But if I say that, I'm what
Mm-hmm.
I'm really drinking, then I'm done for. And so, she asked the same thing. She's like, there's a different stigma, when we come back from Iraq in the 05, 06 timeframe, it wasn't, hey, you're not going to go see the doc.
Yeah.
You don't want to get labeled with PTSD. It's going to keep you from doing jobs down in the future, and everything else. And so, dude, we turned into professional alcoholics.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
plain and simple. Our coping was drinking. Um,
Mm-hmm.
we did it together. It was our way of dealing with whatever the fuck was going on. Some of us got better, and didn't have that crutch. And I know that there's the guys that, hell, man, I had one of my good buddies that fucking drank himself to where his liver fucking, it killed him.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so yeah, I mean, at one point, dude, it was fucking drinking. And then, yeah, I found, I was always in the gym. Granted, this last year, dude, I've turned a fucking soft body, from all the injuries and being sick, but I was always in the gym. That was my
Mm-hmm.
thing. That was my fucking mental release. That's how I cope with, the fucking demons.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and everybody's going to have their way, but you have to find an outlet. Um, if you don't, man, it just fucking internalizes, and it just becomes this fucking cancer that's rooted, and
Mm-hmm.
then it starts to fucking hide, and you can't figure out where the fuck it is and what's wrong. And, you've got so many different layers of things that are fucked up, and before you know it, man, you're another fucking stigma, you
Yeah.
know, and so, it is, man. It's dealing with it, making sure you have, your people that you can trust, you can confide in, um, and knowing what you can and can't do on your own, you know.
Yeah.
Uh, man, it took me 19 and a half years before I actually started seeking help.
Mm-hmm.
I shit, almost 20 years, because I'm over that 20 mark. And I went to, behavioral health a couple years ago, for sleep issues. And then
Mm-hmm.
I had a bad run in. I was an Air Force dude at an Army base, and the guy jumped to fucking conclusion, oh, you don't have PTSD. I was like, dude, I'm not coming in for PTSD. I'm coming in for fucking sleep issues.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so ended up seeing a new doc. And so after that, I was like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm not going to have that fucking label. I don't want to sit here and be fucked around with saying, oh, you're Air Force. Yeah, fucking eat a bag of dicks, dude.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, mind you, I've got 7 years attached to the fucking Army. So,
And I hate that shit too. Like, look, I love the inner battles and the laughs between branches and shit. But when
oh
somebody
yeah,
legitimately has a fucking problem with us being Air Force, it drives me insane. They'll be
oh
like, "Oh,
yeah.
you're a pussy because you're in the Air Force," and I'm like, "Are you fucking serious? What? Come meet me in real time right now. I don't want to fight you, but let's go have a real life in face to face conversation, and let's see how you feel about me after that." You know what I'm
Uh,
saying?
and
It just pisses me
that was
off.
a constant struggle, whenever I was at Fort Leonard Wood, right? Because I
Yeah.
was at the time, there's 2 Air Force guys,
Yeah.
teaching the schoolhouse full of Marines and Army dudes. And for
Mm-hmm.
like the Marines, dude, they never seen fucking Air Force besides what's been, on the fucking, the commercials, right? And so, you got to prove yourself time and time again, every fucking class. And so I
Mm-hmm.
would do that by getting up there and demonstrating the fucking shooting portions,
Yeah.
and be like, oh shit, this guy's actually knows what the fuck he's talking
This
about.
this guy's real.
You know,
Yeah.
and then I joke around, like, I tried to join the Marines. I just couldn't get my ASVAB low enough, just to fuck with them.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
Yeah.
but it's the concept proving yourself, man. And yeah, there's that stigma that it comes along with it. But hey, dude, we all chose our fucking path. We just had more
Yeah.
options.
I was gonna go Marines, but
Yeah,
I couldn't choose my favorite flavor of crayon, so
Grant,
it's fucking
that's
always the
hey.
go-to.
um, but yeah, man. And
I
so
need to get good at that though, by the way, shitting on the other branches, because I'll pull people onto this show, man, and they'll start clowning me, chair force, and I'm like,
oh
crayons.
man,
Like I just don't know what to say, you know?
dude,
But,
like I said, man, we had options. So
yeah. All right, sorry, continue.
yeah, man. So like I said, it was fucking almost 20 years before I decided to go get fucking help.
Mhm,
And it still took me an adjustment to sit down and talk about shit,
mhm,
because one, I'm still fearful of the fucking labels,
mhm,
but I mean, now they've gone through the process. I've been doing this for months now, and you get the diagnosis, and when you actually see the diagnosis written on paper, you're like, I don't know if I should feel more fucked up or a little
yeah,
bit of fucking relief. Because like I can see that now because that's why I was doing this and that's why I was so fucked up over here. But like, oh
yeah,
fuck, you know. Um, and so I would say, don't worry about the fucking labeling, right? Don't sit there and push getting help. Uh, thank God, dude. I've got my old lady who's a mental health professional, right?
mhm,
Um, there's had some real dark years, with things, and she's been there by my side. Yeah, at one point to the point, it was like she was almost trying to be my caregiver instead of my wife and my friend, and that
mhm,
actually drove a wedge between us, for a short period of time. Um, but her going through and being on that side of the house and being a military spouse, and then me, with my background, it's actually opened her eyes to where she understands it more, and she's
mhm,
got a little bit more patience with me and helps me understand what I'm sitting at because dude, I will fucking throw myself into a dark hole real fast,
yeah,
and next thing I know, dude, I feel like there's no fucking light, and so she's always been that fucking rock for me, to help me out. And so I'd like to say, if she wasn't here, I'd still be here. I don't fucking know that, man.
mhm,
She's helped me out through a lot of shit, and so I probably would have gotten help sooner without her, from a professional, but she was there to help me realize the steps and the things and the process of which I was going through. But don't let anyone deter you from going to seek that help. They, they, man, yeah, I've lost a lot of buddies that did not go get help. Um, we say that suicide prevention, right? There'll be signs. Doesn't always
uh-uh.
necessarily happen, man.
Yeah, no, no,
I mean, hell, I talked to one of my guys 3 days before he fucking, took his
yeah.
own life. And
They're fucking smiling and all that shit. You see it is,
yeah, man,
especially when they're posted online. They'd be like, "We this came as a total surprise to us. He's never
yeah,
had one issue." And it's like now all we do is have a bunch of people trying to look out for signs. It's like, don't do that. Because we
that's
have we have a person at this fucking base right here that'll tell you every day, I'd rather fucking die. But he won't. He won't do it. He
you know,
said it before, but he'll bullshit about it and he'll show you those signs. But he's one of those guys that if he came in and he said, "Oh, life's amazing," you'd be like, "There's something wrong here." Like, what do you mean? You know?
well, and with that though, man, and this is where you as a leader, as a supervisor, if that is being said, man, do not arm that dude.
No.
Do not arm that dude, and that's where,
He's doing a lot better now, which is good.
yeah,
It's very good to see. But I mean, it's just this ain't his gig. You know what I'm saying? He's probably going to get
yeah,
out, but
and,
this isn't the thing for him. You know, but
yeah, man,
that's okay. It isn't for everybody.
yeah, no, it is, but all we can do is help that transition. Make sure that he's well enough to make that transition.
Yeah.
And that's the same with anybody we have going through this process, man. It's make sure that you're taking the time for you. I know we kind of
Hmm.
dabbled on this, right? And it's hard. It's hard to find that time, especially when you got, other, 10 million other fucking things going on.
Yeah.
But even if it's 5 or 10 minutes out of the fucking day, take that
Hmm.
time for you. And whatever it is that you enjoy. And, you know, but yeah, don't be afraid to go seek help, man. And like I said, it took me 20 fucking years to
Hmm.
really go do this. And so from an old crusty son of a bitch that's about to fucking retire, that's on this topic. If you need it, go get it. It's there, man. There's MFLACs, there's chaplains, there's some of the first sergeants. They'll talk with you about it. Between the behavioral health, there's phone numbers you can call to where you don't even have to go in person now, right?
Yeah.
And you can start a chat, And so there's a ton of ways for you guys to get that versus when we first were doing this is where you had to go get checked and you had to get the evaluation. So it's a little bit less in your face with it. So man, there's always a direction to get help in. Oh, there we are. Thought we're losing for a minute.
Yeah, no, you came back in, but I heard that there's always a direction. I'm glad that you say that. I had one time where I called the chaplain, and it was one of the best decisions I ever made. So, because it started off with me fucking tearing up, and I was like, I don't even know what to say to you right now, and he just started pestering me with questions, and I that was a moment in time where I was there for the help. So I was like, I'm gonna play the game. Fuck it, I will play the fucking game. And by the end of the conversation, that me and this man are fucking joking, we're laughing about shit. I'm throwing little quips in there, but ha, and it was a 3-hour conversation. And it started at like 11 o'clock at night,
Yeah.
All the way until 1 o'clock in the morning. That chaplain was like, yo, this is what I'm here for, man. This is my fucking job. And I was like, I can't appreciate you more for it, man. This was incredible, So, yeah, I'm glad that you say that.
Good, man. And the fact that, you hitting that on, man. Even at 11 o'clock at night, man, no matter what, you're not a burden.
Yeah.
You're not a burden. This is, as a supervisor, man, this is what we do. This is, hey, you come to me with a problem, man, you're trusting me. You're giving me at your weakest moment something that is going on, right?
Yeah.
And so, and there's people that just don't acknowledge it that way. They look at it as, man, what the fuck is this guy calling me for? Are you serious? Some people cry for help, so.
I can't believe there's NCOs, man, that even operate like that. It blows my mind because I'm like, you just give me a shout, Now, granted, I don't like my phone. Okay. I like my phone because of what we can do now, but I'm also the kind of guy that I would prefer a flip phone, but at the same time, I enjoy the fact that I can do my finances and do all this stuff in a matter of 5 minutes now on my phone versus having to stand at the bank for 5 hours and finally cash that check or do what I need to do or take my, check from my work to the bank and then cash it. And then now I have the money to spend. No, man, we get that shit in a matter of a second now. We take a lot of this stuff for granted, right? I still, though, would prefer a flip phone or my little sidekick I used to have, or like the little LG Cosmos, because I think that this whole a big problem that we have with this generation is the accessibility on our phone, right? Everything being we talked about it at the beginning of the show, right? Everything at the fingertips now. I don't like fucking going through social media at work. You know what I'm saying? I want to be at work to work, and that's where we're starting to lose those at work relationships and those everything, because all people are doing now is taking home with them at work. And now when they're at home, it's no longer really home. You know what I'm saying? So a big thing that I've actually been doing, I'm just going to kind of mention this in general, broad spectrum, for other people to maybe give it a shot. But if you have an iPad at home, this is what I do now. There's no social media on my fucking phone anymore. I do have Tinder, though. But that's because I work 15-hour shifts, all right? I work 15-hour shifts. I'm not going to the coffee shop every fucking day. So I got Tinder. Now, I can't say that Tinder's really great because, I mean, you're talking to I don't know. It's
good luck, my man. Good luck.
Yeah. I start having a conversation and I realize that a lot of these women can't hold a conversation. You're like, wow. But aside from that, okay, I have no social media on my phone anymore. It's all on my iPad. So when I come home at the end of the day, that's where I can kind of sit for like 20 minutes and I'll peruse the socials. I'll see what's new, what's crack-a-lacking, whatever the term is, and have a good time. And then before I go to sleep, man, I try to shut everything off besides the TV kind of stays on. I like to watch Halo stuff or whatever it be, or All American. That's my comfort show right now, and it's finally back. Stuff like that. And then when I go to work, there's no social media. I'm at work to work. I'm at work to take care of the folks around me. I'm at work to have conversations with the airmen, the other NCOs, to learn. And it's the last fucking 2 weeks that I've been doing that for. It's just incredible. The conversations I have are incredible. The time that like just my day is even better because I'm no longer starting, and I don't start the day either. I don't wake up because I wake up at 3:30 in the morning. Well, actually 3:20 in the morning, and I'm ready to work by 4 because we need to be there by 4:10, armed up by 4:30. I'm ready to rock and roll, right? I do not go through anything social before I go to work because that's how you set up your day for that shit. If you start your day by processing that much information, that's what your brain wants to operate on for the rest of the day. So when you are
That's
no longer doing that anymore, your brain's going, "What the fuck are we doing?" And that's why you see everybody scrolling through their phone every fucking day, all day, going, I need that next piece of serotonin. Nah, if you wake up and you don't do that shit, you read a fucking book, you do something, you drink a goddamn glass of water instead of going straight to your phone, right? The rest of your day consists of that, just that. You're more relaxed. And I mean, it's been incredible. It's been incredible for me.
fucking cracking the code over there, huh?
That's what I'm saying. I've always been
Right.
obsessed with finding all the fucking answers. And here I am finding all the answers. And I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
fucking
But
Zuckerberg after you here in a little bit.
yeah, he's going to be like, I need you to have Facebook on you at all
You're
times. I'm
right.
like, whoa, 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 whoa.
The
But
fucking
no.
meta.
And it's funny that you mentioned that too, like cracking the fucking code. Like for the last 2 years, I'm 24, ripe young age of 24 fucking years old. I'm sitting here always trying to find all the answers to shit. And my stepmom was the one that actually drilled this into my head. She goes, if you found out all the answers right now and you cracked the fucking code, then what's the point of the next 60 fucking years of your life?
You'll be
And
fucking
I'm like,
bored, bro.
yeah, I'm going to be like, holy shit. I don't know. What am I supposed to do for the next? So that's the point, just finding things out slowly, surely, and I found out that I can't start my day by zooming through social media. It just ruins the rest of the day for me. So
Right.
hopefully somebody else, maybe even you, maybe you can implement this. I don't know how you are with your socials, but other people, like just being able to fucking start your day off with either a book or processing stuff slowly and then kind of going through the rest of your day. It's been fucking huge for me. So what is this? I
Yeah,
can't
so
save
I'm
it
at the old
now.
age where I have to take a hot fucking shower before I start.
Ooh, that's good too. I need to start doing that. Although no, because if you just go to sleep dirty, your fucking sheets get dirty quicker.
Dude, I get the shower at night and I take the shower in the morning. So
2
if not, dude, my
showers?
fucking body hurts.
Jesus.
So that's my fucking morning routine.
2 showers?
2 showers,
That's
man.
like
Fucking
that's
wicked
the
clean.
time.
So
Yeah. That's the time to be able to just stand there and just let the body relax,
that's
let
all
the
it is, man.
muscles.
That's all it is.
That's how I was like 4 days ago. I literally woke up. They
Untense and
sent me
fucking
home
ready to
early,
start the
right?
fucking
2:00.
day.
Yeah, man, I'm at home like 3:00 in the afternoon. I wake up at 9:00 at night. You know what I did? I went and sat in the shower, man. I sat in the shower for like 20 minutes. But I don't care what anybody says,
Oh,
man.
yeah.
That's an incredible feeling when you just kind of sit there like this and you just
Oh,
let
yeah.
it all hit you, and you're just
Dude,
like,
just
yeah,
let the water fucking hit you.
yeah.
Dude,
I don't
and
want to
it's
know what it looks
therapeutic,
like in
man.
third person, but when you're the
Hey,
one doing it,
dude,
it
I
feels
don't give
good.
2 fucks. Hey, man.
You're
It's
sitting
in
there
there,
like,
man. And it's funny, man. You talk about that, right? And so it's the mental side of it, though, because if you start with a sensor, and so you can start to feel the water hit
mm,
you.
mm,
You feel the warmth of it, and so it takes your mind off of all these different things, right?
yeah.
And so you start to focus on, and this is why I do this in the morning, right? This is what is my calming state. And so, you saying that, man, it's funny because that is exactly why I'm fucking doing it. Besides
Mm-hmm.
helping my fucking body relax because I just fucking hurt.
Yeah.
39, but I get out of bed looking like a fucking 82-year-old. And so, it's the mental side of it. I'm starting my day off. I want to make sure I'm starting off calm.
Mm-hmm.
Because, dude, I hate being fucking rushed. If I fucking wake up late and I'm grabbing my
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
coffee to go, dude, my day is, fucked.
Yeah. That's the
I
rest of
feel
your
like,
day. It just
yeah,
feels, everything feels rushed.
yep. I feel like I'm gonna start fucking killing people left and right,
Yeah.
and so it is, man. You find your routine, your niche, whatever you need to fucking do, but establish it.
Oh, yeah.
Don't let it get fucked up.
Yeah, I'm so glad you mentioned that because I love just being able to do my own thing in the morning. Because some of
Man.
these, when you're telling some of these airmen, like, hey man, just show up early, man. It's not that bad. And they're like, what's the point? And I'm like, dude, you get to do things how you want to do them when you show up early.
Yeah.
You come in late and all you have is me ordering you what to do. Hey, you need to be armed up now. You need to do this, go do this, go do this. But if you come in, because I like to come in early because I get to arm up how I choose. I get to do whatever I want. I get to sit back. I get to grab either my energy drink or my coffee, and I get to sip it in
Sit back
peace.
yes.
Instead of just drinking your coffee on the way to work, and you're like, oh my God, and then you're arming up and you're dropping your coffee, and you're like, son of a bitch. If that's you every morning, that's a sad fucking life to live.
Chaos, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. Controlled chaos is where I like to be in.
God, there it is. Yeah. God, that reminds me too. Like we'll do the dorm inspections, man, and like some people just don't understand. Like, hey, having a nice home to come back to, organized, is so much better on the mental. Because if you're living in chaos, your life is chaos, and people don't understand that. If your room is a wreck, your life is somewhat of a wreck. Great, you can still operate great. Don't get me wrong, but if you're living in chaos, man, you're operating in chaos, and it carries through everything.
I don't miss.
I figured I'd stick
that in
there.
I do not miss that. I don't miss dorm inspections, man. Fuck.
I'm like, bro, can you smell that? And he's like, no. And I'm like, man. I was like, dude, I need you to get some Febreze. You get some little air wicks. And he's like, nah, Sergeant, I got this. And I'm like, dog, that's supposed to be in your fucking car. You need to get in-home sense shit. And he's like, oh. And I'm like, yeah, man. Like,
dirty
figure it
motherfuckers.
Out. He's, Sarge, I got this. And I'm like, no, man, it goes on your car, bro. Oh, I love it. Fucking love it. Well, all right, man. I thank you, brother, for coming on, man. I do appreciate you for taking the time.
No, I appreciate it, man. You know, it's always a good opportunity to sit down and, you know, just be able to fucking just chat, man, and just talk, fucking real talk, you know. And if something, you know, comes out that's positive, man, it's even fucking better. You know, it's just big thing. Keep doing you, man. It's to see the growth that you know, from day one. Yeah, I remember sitting with you, seeing you on the fucking couch over the MSOS building, you know, the Weapons and Tactics building, you know, just and bullshitting with you. I'm like, man, you're a froggy, you know. There's something about you get that fire. But to see where you've taken this, man, fucking wicked proud of you. So keep fucking pushing, man. You got a good message you're pushing these guys. And so same thing I've been telling all day, dude. Don't be afraid to fucking fail. Test the fucking limits on what you're doing. Even with this podcast, man, fucking burn it out. You know, let's fucking make it huge. So I'm honored to be, you know, even on here. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to sit down and talk with you. And man, I wish you nothing but the fucking best moving forward on this, man.
And I appreciate that. And likewise, I mean, it's an honor to bring you on because this is where we get that real material. The whole reason we even do this fucking show, I do this show, is because I want to get the actual conversations. Because you don't get me wrong, look, I have nothing but respect for Black Rifle and their podcasts and what they do, but a majority of them, they only bring on those big, you know, known names. But there's so many people that have stories that aren't being fucking told and need to be told, and that's what this fucking show's for. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
And I appreciate you for coming on, for taking the time, for talking about the things you want to talk about. And it's been an incredible episode. I mean, I think there's a lot of things that people are going to be able to take away from this show. This one right here alone, and being able to walk away and become a better NCO, become a better airman. And in general, a lot of this stuff that makes you a better airman, a better NCO, makes you a better individual in general, makes you a better professional in whatever fucking craft you're doing. A lot of these things help you out in the real world, right? You're not on the inside, right? Not in the barbed wire, in prison, whatever you want to call the term, right? And it's phenomenal. I think you've said a lot of things today too that'll definitely propel people in whatever career they're doing. So I appreciate you. Thank you for coming on to the show. I'm gonna cut into the sponsors, and then we're gonna take care of the rest of our days, man.
Brother.
So G Fuel, Gamer Advantage, Paradox, we appreciate you guys for being along for the mission. Most importantly, though, Stack Up, man. You guys are doing incredible things for people that are deployed, people that are overseas, people that need things, veterans that need things, and supplying that. So all four of those sponsors right there, we are incredibly proud that you guys are along for the mission that we are here and on. Smitty, my guy, thanks for coming on to the show. Feel free to just kind of mention whatever you want, kind of plug whatever you need, and then we're going to call it right there.
Oh man, hey, biggest thing, like I said, just fucking honored to be a part of this, dude. So just keep fucking pushing, keep doing the big things. Dude, you ever need anything, I always say fucking reach out, man. You know, might not be the fucking shit you want to hear, but it's the shit you need to fucking hear.
That's the way it's got to be. Well, all right. I will see you guys in the next episode, hopefully with Jake. Jake's got some stuff he's taking care of, but once he's taken care of, we're going to be back. We're going to resume normal. But I will see you on the next episode.